Morning, so it's now day 95 of the vlog. 95. And yeah, as I said, it's officially now the taper period. So officially today I'm going to start sort of cutting down on the fitness and everything. And I think the best way to start that is to look at gratitude. Now I like to moan a little bit at times. I have to say I'm a little bit of a moaner. But the one thing I've learned with this sort of training and everything, and obviously doing a fundraising sort of challenge, actually there's a lot of things to be grateful for. So we're going to look at reasons or ways I can show a bit more gratitude. Now obviously I've been blown away by the amount of donations and stuff. I do want to see today how I can use fitness to display a bit more gratitude and maybe just consider other things that I don't really consider at times that, all of us don't consider at times that we should be grateful for. So I found some sort of gratitude strategies. You would have seen some pictures. So we're going to look at some of those strategies today and just sort of see if it puts in perspective actually how lucky we are, because sometimes we probably don't really think about it. We're so wrapped up and busy in our own lives. And yeah, I want to sort of show you how grateful I am for a lot of things, and mainly the little things. It's the little things that make a big difference. So yeah, we're going to look at those strategies today. So in terms of training, it'll be a walk in the gym, and yeah, through the day we'll just sort of work through some gratitude strategies, including journals and yes, a couple of things I've got planned on my walk. So yeah, going to do my sit-ups first as usual, keep mentioning that, and then we're going to do our first gratitude thing during breakfast. Ritual that sort of many religions and cultures really savour is their meal times, and it's really important to them. And one thing they tend to do is they sort of do a little prayer before they have their meal. Now I actually think that's really a good idea. I think we sometimes sit in front of the TV, we don't really even realise what we're eating. I eat so quickly sometimes. I love my food and I do enjoy it, but I don't really maybe appreciate and grateful for actually how important it is. So I'm going to do a sort of little prayer message, whatever you want to call it, just to say how grateful I am for the food I'm about to eat. So I've got my Weetabix and stuff. I'm going to put Huel over it. And I also have an orange, but before I'm allowed to eat it, I just need to thank my parents first of all for buying it, but also the world for supplying me this food. So I'm going to say thank you very much for the food I'm about to eat, for giving me the strength to carry on with this ultra challenge, for the lovely flavours of chocolate from my Huel and the cacao powder, and the crunchy flavours of my Weetabix and my Crave, for giving me all these 26 health benefits and all the protein that comes with it. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to tasting the delicate flavours of my breakfast again. Thank you. Time to tuck in. That is what you call a breakfast. Look how full it is. Oh, I'm going to enjoy this a lot. I am very grateful for this. Delicious. What you would have just seen is a post-it note of all the meals we're having this week, which Mum has kindly done. So Mum always plans our meals a week ahead, and she just does it. She doesn't ask for anyone else to cook the meals. She just does so many good things and never expects anything in return or any attention. However, I saw obviously on that gratitude list that, well, one of the things you can do is a gratitude letter or note. Now, I've done quite a lot of letter writing lately, so I've decided not to do that. I'm going to show everyone on social media again, so on my Twitter account or my X account, how amazing my mum is. I'm going to post a picture of that post-it note, and yeah, just let everyone know how grateful I am for my mum for not just giving us all the food and cooking all the dinners, but she does so much that this would be the longest vlog in the world if I listed all the things she'd done. So we're going to do that just so I can show I'm grateful for them, and also just to show everyone else how amazing she is, because she does a lot of things which people don't notice. So I'm going to make sure that other people notice how I've got the best mum, basically. So let's post that now, and I'll screenshot it for you. The inspiration for today's vlog actually came from watching a programme called An Idiot Abroad by Carl Pilkington. So if anyone's seen Idiot Abroad, essentially there was an episode, I believe it was in the Great Wall of China one. So he went to all these different wonders of the world, and he went to see a fortune teller. So that's the screenshot you would have just seen, the very blurry one. And essentially the fortune teller told him he had a problem with his heart, and to sort of heal it, he needed to go and write 3 confessions and burn one in a fire, they also put one by water and one on the top of the mountain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write 3 confessions of things I've done in the past that I'm not proud of, let's say. And then I'm going to put them in 3 different locations. I'm going to write it on a stone, put them in a location, then hopefully that will banish those sort of mistakes I made, let's say, and cleanse my soul. So if I do have any heart issue or any problems that I might have underlying, it's going to clear them. I'm going to be full health again. So that's going to be one of the things I do on the walk today. The other thing as well is Derbyshire Live, which you'll see the screenshot in a minute, did a study and it looks at the amount of steps, because this is a training blog, let's not forget, looks at the amount of steps different professions take in a day. They gave these workers Fitbits. And essentially what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and walk the steps of all those people. And then when I get to that amount of steps, I'm going to say why I'm grateful for that profession and the people who work in that profession. So they're the 2 things I'm going to do on my walk. Time to get going. Right, so I've got my 3 stones. So what I'm going to do on there is I'm going to write 3 confessions that I've done. And I'm going to go put one, well, I'm going to put them in 3 different places on my walk this morning. So yeah, let's get my pen out. And yeah, let's start writing some things down. I couldn't find any big stones, so my handwriting's going to need to be neat. My 3 confessions. I went for a run once to avoid going to a party at Wagamama's. I stole Lego from a friend, and I missed a seminar by pretending I had a job interview. I will explain all as I go along. The early confession was about me stealing Lego. It was around a friend called Matt, so I used to love my little Lego figure that used to sit on our house alarm called Dave. Anyway, I'd never seen this Lego before. It was like this little dollar notes. And I took about 3 or 4 of them when he went to the toilet, put them in my pocket, took them home and kept them because I just thought, oh, this is really cool. So yeah, he'll never know. He never knew. And so I took these 3 dollar notes that were Lego. And yeah, obviously the fact I've never forgotten it means it's obviously still on my mind, so I can banish that one today. Second one, essentially I lied that I was a running coach just to get out a friend's birthday party at uni at Wagamama's. And his girlfriend invited me as a surprise one, but I didn't know any of his friends or her friends because I lived at home and they all lived at uni. So I just said I was a running coach and I've got to take my sort of group out tonight. And I thought, well, that good thing with that is it was a running night. So I thought I'll be seen with other people anyway. So even if I get caught out running, they're all going to think then I'm telling the truth, even though I wasn't a coach. And then the third one, essentially, again, was at uni. I lied that I had a job interview because I forgot that we were going in an altitude chamber that day. And obviously altitude chambers can make you quite dizzy because they're taking the oxygen away. And I fainted at the opticians a couple of years before, and I was just worried this was going to happen in this altitude chamber. So sort of 10 minutes in a panic, I just told the lecturer, I've just got to let you know I've got a job interview today. And she was like, yeah, that's fine, go when you need to. So I was just waiting until they started the altitude chamber. And yeah, I just sat in the library the whole time, just like hiding. So yeah, not good. But the fact is, I can put these stones away and I can put those memories behind me, those mistakes, those confessions. And then hopefully I won't have to think about them anymore. Put my Lego stone down. I'm now going to put it on the beach, just here by this wall. Because it's been a big part of my training, the beach. And I think it's only fitting to put one of my confessions along there. So I'm going to find a couple of other locations that have been important to my training. So the next one we're going to put down is not going to Wagamama's. So let's find a spot for that one, a different spot. Leave my Wagamama one by a bench here. I'm going to put it under here because this was where essentially I did my good deed. I put one of the toys there that got taken, so that one's going to be left there because benches have been important, whether that's been changing my insoles, as I said, leaving toys on benches, or just stopping for a snack. Benches have been very important for me in this trade. I'm always looking for a bench to stop sometimes, and it's certainly served its purpose. Right, the last one is the job interview one, so let's see if I can find a final spot for that. Right, so I'm going to put the last one next to this outdoor gym equipment, because whether it's been my home gym garden or being on these ones like this, I have to say gyms have been very important to me, so I'm going to leave it here. So my last confession, and then I'm going to head to the gym as well. So I think that's a fitting place to put my last one. Nearly on 8,000 steps. So it's time to show gratitude to a few professions that do the most steps in the day. Okay, so I've covered the steps so far in a day for a hotel manager or assistant manager, a teacher and an office worker. So I'm going to give one reason why I'm grateful for all of them. So I'm going to just say assistant managers in general. Assistant managers probably have to take a lot of their work home. It's the work we don't often see. And that could be dealing with emails and complaints and stuff that normally gets forwarded to them. And also meetings, making big decisions as well. So I'm sure that's not very fun. I'm sure it's very difficult at times. So unsociable hours, probably irregular hours a lot of the time because it's on being on call, and normally they spend their time having to praise staff below them. Your everyday sort of hard worker, but actually they probably don't get a lot of praise themselves, and it's hard to juggle, their work-life balance. I'm absolutely sure of that. So that's what I'm grateful for them for, is doing the work while we don't see it. Teachers, they've taken on a load of new work. Obviously, I've worked in schools, and a lot of them now have to deal with a lot of issues, particularly online, that gets brought into a school environment. And as much as they want to teach and help people learn, they've also become almost carers as well, and looking after and protecting children from this other world that we have these days, which we didn't have when we were young. Well, I didn't have when I was a child growing up. And then office workers, well, I worked in a reception job before, and they do everything from first aid to dealing with complaints, taking in all the parcels, doing all the heavy lifting. They're like they do everything. They literally are like the battering ram for most jobs as well. It's not just sitting at a desk eating biscuits a lot of the time, that's for sure. So yes, I am grateful for all three of them, and without them, I'll tell you now, the world wouldn't be as good a place. Okay, so we're just over 14,000 steps, so we can show now gratitude to our next three workers that do the most steps in that study. So that was your hairdresser or barber, I'm going to count as well, your street cleaners, and also your airline cabin crew. So let's give that a try. So I am grateful for hairdressers and barbers as well, because let's be honest, people are very particular about things when it comes to hairstyles and whatever, and I can imagine that's very difficult to please everyone. However, it took me about 28 years to go and get a haircut out of the house, and my mum did my hair for that long. And the barber I go to, called Ali, he's very good. He's done amazing skin fades for me. I think I'm going to have another one soon, and he always very reasonable price. They gossip about everything as well. So they have to hear so many stories from people, which they probably get bored of. But they always love a little chat with you, really, and always very welcoming. I've never heard a miserable hairdresser. Well, not the ones I've sat in anyway. Street cleaners, well, I think the best thing they do is you can see, you miss them when they're not there. There was a load of stories recently in Birmingham where rubbish wasn't collected. I absolutely love nature and being outside, and if it was covered in litter, because people aren't very good at putting things in the bin, tell you what, you'd notice it. So they are very important, and as I said, they do a very active job, and I think are very polite. They're always say morning when you run by them and everything like that as well, and it just makes your day, just sets you up nicely for the day. And then airline cabin crew, well, I just couldn't be on a plane like that. I don't like flights just as a passenger, on a flight. So to work unsociable hours again, away from family, probably getting quite a lot of complaints. Again, I'm still first aid, potential risks, that you might get on a flight. I think they're amazing. It's not the easiest job, that's for sure, and it's something I know I couldn't do. So I'm just nearly up to 28,000 steps, just walking back from the gym. So I've now gone over the police community support officer steps. So I'm going to talk about how grateful I am for kind of our emergency services that seem to do a lot for us. So one thing is for certain, I know I couldn't be an airline sort of cabin crew, but I definitely couldn't be a police officer, a paramedic, or a firefighter or anything like that. 90% of the time they're putting their, life on the line, which, how you can even do that, I don't know. But obviously some people just thrive under that pressure, and, the ability for me to go to London and enjoy some of these events and things I've gone to see wouldn't have been possible without the sort of security that's there. And I know in terms of when I've had sick grandparents and stuff, you know, or you feel sick yourself, you know, they're only a phone call away. And I think sometimes we probably do take that for granted a little bit, you know, how lucky we are that if there is anything that happens, we can get on the phone straight away and someone can come and potentially save your life. So yes, I'm definitely grateful for them. I think we're all grateful for them. And I think sometimes they do get quite a rough ride, particularly the police at the moment with, you know, crime and whatever, but it's a difficult role. And I think, yeah, I know I couldn't do it. So fair play to them, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm back from the gym, just had my lunch. Now it's time to have a little look at my gratitude tin. Now in there's tea bags still, I must admit, but there's also 5 slips of paper in there. And they essentially have 5 things that I'm grateful for. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick out one at a time and then explain why I'm grateful for them. And maybe there might be a little task I have to do with a couple of them as well. So let's get on with it. Let's pick out one at a time and we'll see what I put in there. I'm not looking. Give them a bit of a shake. First one. I'm grateful for my brown fleecy hoodie. You would have seen this loads of times in the vlogs. So I'm going to go put it on. It's a really hot day. It's not a day for it, but it has basically been the thing I've worn more than anything probably during these training things, whether that's out on a cold walk or just getting out of bed half the time. It's like my dressing gown. So I'm going to go put that one on before I open up the next slip of gratitude. Hoodie is on. It is so comfortable. This was £20 from Boohoo. As soon as it's had it, I'm getting another one because it is lovely. It's just the comfiest thing in the world. Right, time to have a look at what the next slip is. Oh, I wonder why that one was open, because I've got man on the front. Right. So I've mentioned Mum today already, but I'm also grateful for Dad, because Dad buys me trail mix every week at Home Bargains. So he's got 2 lots here. So every Monday after dinner, he goes to Home Bargains. And this is basically the stuff I nibble on when I'm sort of in the kitchen waiting for my coffee to boil. And I have to say, I'm very grateful for it, because otherwise I don't know what I would eat. Probably another orange, and probably more expensive, he'll tell me. So yes, very happy with these. So thank you, Dad, for these. That is something I am grateful for. Right, time for the third one. Oh, this one's very stuck. My phone. Well, that's an easy one because you can see me here, and honestly, I have absolutely loved sort of filming all these vlogs. It's kept me going through the training as well. But obviously, you know, people have been donating, and that's probably been done on their phones. And as I said, phones are amazing things. If they're used correctly, they are very good things. And so I've met a lot of great people I've not even met, who have been donating. So it's been very important, and it's allowed me to share this journey and look back at some old photos of things as well. So yeah, I'm very grateful for my phone. I think we all are deep down. Fourth one. The kind donations I have received. Now, obviously, I've received 23 donations. First of all, that's amazing. So thank you very much to everyone who's donated. I want to see now, I've got 11 days left, if I can get a few more. So one of the tasks I'm going to set myself, I'm going to go and put this out in the front drive and stick it up and just see if anyone walks by, looks at it. And yeah, you never know, you might get a couple of neighbours that might donate. Probably won't, but we'll do our best. If you can get 1 or 2 more donations, the weather being nice, this can stay outside. That'd be good. So I'm going to put it in a plastic wallet and stick it on the fence. Let's see what we get. Fingers crossed. Okay, so it's not stuck down as well as I thought, but we'll wait until Dad's back, because Dad will probably do a better job than me. But at least we've got it up, so if anyone does walk by in the next couple of hours, it's up there. You never know. You just never know. Fifth and final one. I know what this is as well, and I'm going to have to kind of admit and own up here, because something I said I'd never buy, but I have bought them, and they haven't come yet. Mum, Dad, when you see this in the vlog, you won't even know I've bought these, but I have, and I'll show you the sort of messages of it as well. But it is, and I know it's backwards to you, but it says, for the eBay seller who sold me second-hand shoes. Right, time to own up. Let's show you the screenshots first. Bought some second-hand shoes. Never thought I'd do that because I don't like the idea of wearing someone's sweaty shoes from before. But as you may have known, the shoes I'm currently walking, which I find the most comfortable, are 6 years old and you can't get them anymore. Had a little look on eBay and they were a used pair, and I thought, do I just ask him? So I asked the seller, could you send me a couple of extra pictures? And I think they look okay. And he's got great feedback and everything. I told him the challenge I'm doing, as you would have just seen in the message. He said, good luck. Dispatched them straight away for me and managed to get it all in with postage included for £20. So I saved about an extra £5 on it. So I'm very grateful for Sam, who sold me these pairs of shoes. They have been dispatched. They're on their way, and they're exactly the same ones as the ones I'm walking in. So just to be extra safe, even though I've bought a couple of new pairs, I really just wanted to be extra cautious. So thank you very much, and I appreciate the good luck message. That's all the things I'm grateful for in my grateful tin. Now it's time to do my gratitude journal. I decided to do my gratitude journal outside because some of it involves a bit of nature. The first question I need to answer is, what is the one thing you often take for granted that you are grateful for? The second question is going to be, what is a piece of nature that brings you joy? 3 is 3 people you are grateful for. 4 is, in silence, what do I notice? I'm going to sit here for 30 seconds in silence and just write down what I notice. And then 5, if I could post a message for thousands of people to see, what would it say? That's a really tough question. So let's get on with these and then I'll reveal my answers. So I'm going to reveal my first 3 that I've written down. So the one thing I often take for granted that I'm grateful for, the postman, and all the things that have to go, or has to go through for your order to come to you. If you think about it, how many people are involved? So you order something, the seller has to dispatch it, say you're buying on eBay, like I've done with these shoes. Then it gets sent to a courier by someone. Then they dispatch it. Then it's got to go to some sort of sorting office, something like that. And then it goes to the postman, and then it's delivered to your door. And you don't even think about it. You've clicked a few buttons, and then it's out of your mind, and you're just looking out the window waiting for the postman. So I am grateful for all the people that help deliver all these parcels I've got to support my training. A piece of nature that brings you joy. Well, you're now going to have a little look at some of my favourite photos from the last couple of weeks where the weather has been so amazing on my training. So let's pause here and show you that. So, I love those photos, by the way. There's one particularly of the sea. The sea's colour's lovely at the minute, honestly, I love it. So 3 people I'm grateful for. Now, I could have just said mum, dad, brother, but that was too easy. So there's a few people that have been very polite to me in the last couple of weeks. One is the receptionist at my gym. I believe her name's Claire, but she always asks how I'm getting on because she's doing some running training at the moment, and we always have a little chat about that. A cashier on the till in Cards Direct. So when I got my nan's birthday card with my brother, she was very much smiley, have a good day. That's just that extra comment that was just nice, that she made a bit of an effort. And, customer service is difficult, but she was fantastic with it. And then the last one was the lady on the phone at Turner's Pie. So when I bought my granddad some sausage rolls, she was very kind. The call lasted about 2 minutes. She said, do you want the pie sort of heated or the pasty heated or not? And what time you come in, and it'll all be ready for you. She just made it so simple, so easy, and I was very thankful for that. Right, I'm going to sit in silence now for 30 seconds to see what I notice while I'm out here. I think it's a lot of bird noises, that's for sure. Okay, so 30 seconds is up. I noticed the birds. The breeze was actually something I really noticed. It's not even breezy today, but it's so nice just having like a nice warm breeze. And just peace. It's so nice sometimes just to sit in silence, a bit of peace and quiet. Speaking of which, I need to do some meditation in a minute. It doesn't normally work for me, that, so we'll give it a try inside. But I'm not convinced it's going to work too much. But if I could post a message for thousands of people to see, what would it say? I might post this on X as well because my followers. I think live today to the full and you won't have time to think about tomorrow. I think that's very true. I don't think you worry about anything that in the future. If you are keeping your mind busy today, focus on the now, focus on being busy. Make sure by the time you go to bed, you say, I've done everything I planned to do today. And I think then you look back in a much better mood. That's my motto. So live today to the full and you won't have time to think about tomorrow. I like it. Back on the bed, it's time to finish with gratitude and meditation, which it said at the start of this video. Essentially, you visualize the sort of 3 things you're grateful for. So I'm going to visualize 3 things I'm grateful for, and I'm going to move and see if I feel even happier after that. It's been a good day anyway, but this is just like the icing on the cake. I don't think this meditation works. I can just hear a bird outside and my brother playing guitar. Yeah, it's not for me. That's it for today. What a lovely day it's been. Again, weather's fantastic. It looks like it's going to rain though, potentially on the day. Currently, that's what the forecast is. But that being said, I am very grateful. I'm grateful for the good weather we've had. I'm grateful for, all the training I've done and been able to do it because, it's a lot of training and it's been great to be able to be outside and do it all. And obviously grateful for everyone that's been donating. We sometimes, I think, look at the negative things in our lives as well. It's very easy to focus on the negatives and we actually then forget about all the positive things. And I can guarantee you, if you ever think about it, normally there's more positives than negatives. It's just those niggling negatives that get in your mind that overshadow everything else. But actually, it's really been useful to look at some of those things today and make a gratitude jar or whatever. I think sometimes it is good to take a step back, and that's what I've done today. And as I said, it's really just to say a big thank you to everyone who supported me during this training. Obviously going to be 10 days to go after today. So yeah, it's very, very scary. But as I said, appreciate all the support we've had. I'm going to do that post now. I'm going to put my motto on there with my favourite picture. So yeah, hopefully we'll get some interactions with that. But in terms of tomorrow, going to look at some of the things on my taper timetable, which is behind me. So I'll have a little go at that. I'll do a little walk with my brother as well. But day off the gym, day off running, and yeah, the sun's going to be shining. So got to be grateful for that. Catch you later.